Hack number 4, stop counting calories. Now I know we hit on this in week 1, but I want to dig into it a little bit more. If you haven't already noticed, I haven't really asked you to remove a whole bunch of calories in this program. So far, I've mostly talked about the importance of adding more calories in order to make sure your body is getting the nutrients that it needs. In the long run, these additional calories in the form of salads, smoothies, and G-bombs will push out the calorie-dense addictive foods that contribute to overweight and poor health. Calories from nutrient-dense foods will not make your body gain unwanted weight. This is because calories do not function in a vacuum. What do I mean by that? Let's start with a definition. What is a calorie? A calorie is technically defined as the energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. It's measured by the change in water temperature when a food is burned. If I were to give you 100 calories in the form of Coca-Cola versus 100 calories in the form of broccoli, your body would have completely different physiological responses from the same amount of calories. The Coca-Cola would spike your blood sugar levels, stimulating the release of insulin, followed by a hypoglycemic crash where your body tells you to eat, despite the fact that you may not be truly hungry. So you eat and store more unnecessary weight and the cycle continues. 100 calories of broccoli, on the other hand, doesn't spike your blood glucose levels and it fills you up because of the high protein and fiber content. So then your body doesn't cue you to eat again until you're actually needing more nutrients. Same number of calories, totally different effects. This is the reason why calorie counting doesn't work. Moral of the story, no county the calorie. Hack number 5, eat foods in a specific order. It turns out that how we eat our food can have a significant impact on our glucose curves. A 2015 study conducted by Cornell University found that 2 meals made of the same quantity of food containing the same nutrients and the same number of calories can have vastly different effects on your blood sugar levels depending on how the components of the meal were eaten. On the day of the first meal, researchers collected a fasting glucose level in the morning 12 hours after the patients last ate. They were then instructed to eat their carbohydrates first, followed 15 minutes later by the protein, vegetables, and fat. After they finished eating, researchers checked their post-meal glucose levels with a blood test at 30, 60, and 120-minute intervals. A week later, researchers again checked patients' fasting glucose levels and then had them eat the same meal, but with the food order reversed. They put protein, vegetables, and fat first, followed 15 minutes later by the carbohydrates. The same post-meal glucose levels were then collected. The results showed that glucose levels were much lower at the 30, 60, and 120-minute checks, about 29%, 37%, and 17% respectively, when vegetables and protein were eaten before the carbohydrates. Insulin was also significantly lower when protein and vegetables were eaten first. This finding confirms that the order in which we eat food matters and points to a new way to effectively control post-meal glucose levels. The moral of this story is to eat your vegetables first, specifically raw vegetables, then your cooked vegetables, then eat your protein and fat sources, and then eat your starchy carbohydrates and sugars last. Hack number 6. Put some clothes on your carbs. Carbs are considered to be naked when they have no other nutrient or fiber slowing down their absorption. So the more refined a carbohydrate is, the more naked it is. And if you eat a refined carbohydrate that is also sweetened, like a donut, on an empty stomach, you have just eaten the most naked carbohydrate possible, and this is guaranteed to spike your blood sugar levels. So how do we metaphorically put clothes on our carbohydrates? Well, keeping the fiber on your food is a really good way of keeping those carbs dressed up. Remember that fiber slows down the absorption of glucose in the bloodstream. Other than that, think about adding other macronutrients to clothe your carbs. Eating carbs with another food group, like protein and fat, will slow down the glucose absorption into the bloodstream. A good example of carbs with fat might be something like an apple with almond butter. Carbs with protein might be something like rice with grilled chicken breast. Hack number 7. Pick dessert over a sweet snack. Now, I'm not necessarily encouraging anyone to go forth and eat sweet desserts on a daily basis, but I recognize the fact that we are all human and we want something sweet from time to time. With that being said, this hack is a strategy that will allow you to still eat the sweet thing, but with much less drama involved. This is because if you eat a sweet food at the end of a meal, it is likely that the glucose spike will be much lower because the dessert will have been clothed by fiber, protein, and fats that were consumed earlier in your meal. But this hack goes even deeper than that. Remember in week 1 where I challenged you to start eating only 3 meals per day to eliminate snacking? Well, let's dive more into that. After a meal, we tend to move on quickly to our next activity. But when we are done eating, our organs are just getting started. Remember, at that point, the body still has to do all of the work to break down the nutrients, metabolize them, and then reassimilate them into a usable form while discarding the waste. Once you eat, you turn the machine on and it runs until it has finished the digestive process completely. In fact, it typically runs for about 4 hours on average after our last bite. This is what we call the post-eating or postprandial state. During this time period, blood rushes to our digestive system and our hormones rise like a tide. The body goes through its biggest hormone changes of the whole day. This is also the time where we are most likely to experience our highest levels of inflammation throughout the day. The whole process of digesting food is a really energy-consuming process for the body, and as a result, certain systems are put on hold, like the immune system, while others are activated, like fat storage. Generally speaking, insulin levels, oxidative stress, and inflammation increase during this time. The postprandial state is normal, but it is also an effort for our body. Most Americans spend about 20 hours out of a 24-hour day in the postprandial state because we have on average 3 meals and 2 snacks per day. Contrast this with someone who doesn't snack and just eats 3 meals per day. Guess how much time on average their body spends in the postprandial state? Only 8 hours. 8 hours of metabolic activity compared to 20 hours of metabolic activity per day. 8 hours is much more ideal for long-term health. When you don't snack between meals, your body has more time to recover, detoxify, and regenerate healthy cells because it's not constantly spending energy on cell turnover, which is incredibly aging to the body. To summarize, if you're going to eat something sweet, do so at the end of the meal and don't interrupt your body's healing time with a sweet snack. Hack number 8. If you're going to snack, go savory. If you're going to interrupt your metabolic process by having a snack, then do yourself a favor and choose a low glycemic snack that won't keep you on the blood sugar roller coaster. A good example of this is veggie sticks with hummus. As far as snacking goes, this is one of your best options because it is easy to prepare and pack. You can carry it with you to the office or up a mountain. Because you can make hummus without animal products, there's no need to worry about it going bad if it remains unrefrigerated for a few hours. Again, snacking is not ideal, but let's talk about why it's important to choose a savory snack over a sweet one. Sweet snacks will dysregulate your blood sugar for the day, throwing you off balance before you even know what's happening. On the other hand, stabilizing your blood sugar by consuming low glycemic foods like fresh vegetables can help to keep your mental state calm and balanced. Those with dysregulated blood sugar levels tend to experience more anxiety, depression, restlessness, inability to focus, and worsened symptoms of ADHD and autism. On the other hand, balanced blood sugar levels help you to maintain your ideal weight, mental clarity, and mood throughout the day.